The deepest pits of hell, far from the torments of the average sinner, a peculiar chamber existed. It was not carved of fire and brimstone, but of cold, grey stone walls lined with iron chains and smudges of old, unreadable graffiti. Here, the most notorious war criminals from World War II gathered, eternally confined but bizarrely compelled to congregate. The room was illuminated by a sickly pale light that cast long shadows across the scarred faces of the damned. Around a jagged obsidian table sat the souls of men who had orchestrated unspeakable horrors. Himmler, Tojo, Mussolini, and countless others whose names were burned into history books and whispered in fear. Ah, my Reichsführer SS, you should have seen the efficiency of our camps. My officers could process thousands in a single day. The paperwork alone was an art.
Efficiency is one thing, but we excelled in spirit. My soldiers captured the very essence of fear. The rape of Nanking, a masterpiece of psychological warfare. The terror we sowed cannot be measured in numbers alone.
You amateurs waste your breath on fear and death. True brilliance lies in creating belief. I made people love me, worship me as if I were Caesar himself reborn. My mistake was trusting Hitler. The man had no sense of subtlety.
Hitler sat at the far end of the table, silent and brooding. His presence was a heavy thing, a gravitational pull that darkened the already bleak room. When he finally spoke, it was with a calm yet venomous tone. You talk of efficiency and fear, but none of you had a vision. My Reich was to last 1,000 years, shaping the world into my image. Goring from a shadowy corner, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Yes, and it lasted 12. Truly visionary, mein Führer. Laughter rippled through the chamber, bitter and mocking. Even in hell, the camaraderie of shared depravity could not erase the undercurrent of disdain among them. Across the table, a new voice chimed in, an older man, his face gaunt and his eyes hollow. It was Pavel Sudoplatov, the Soviet spy master, his presence a reminder that the victors were not always the virtuous.
You all had your grand plans, your fantasies of empires, but I thrived in the shadows, the subtle art of betrayal. I pulled strings you never saw. A single poisoned handshake can accomplish more than 1,000 tanks.
The door to the chamber creaked open, and a new figure entered. A tall, skeletal demon with ashen wings and smoldering eyes. Its voice was like grinding metal.
Enough reminiscing. Your boasting serves no purpose here.
The criminals fell silent for a moment, exchanging glances. Then Himmler leaned back and smirked. Purpose? There is no purpose here, only eternity. Let us at least enjoy our infamy. The demon sneered but left them to their grim camaraderie. As the door slammed shut, the room erupted into a cacophony of voices, each shouting over the other in a macabre competition of cruelty.
And the katana executions. Have you ever seen a man bisected in one stroke?
Pathetic. I brought Rome to its knees without lifting a sword.
My Luftwaffe reduced cities to ashes. Around and around it went, an eternal cycle of ego, malice, and hollow pride. In hell, the crimes they once committed to dominate the living became the only currency they had left. There was no redemption, no forgiveness, only the endless echo of their own monstrous deeds. Their torment was subtle but profound. They were trapped in a circle of their own making, where their sins were not only remembered, but celebrated by the damned souls they despised the most. For in this chamber of horrors, no one could ever truly win Fade Out.